welcome to Vendée Live. It is Wednesday, the 18th of December, and we are on day 38 of the Vendée Globe. Right here, it is a damp day, but the cheers rung out in the streets of Les Sables d'Olonne last night as everybody was celebrating local hero Sébastien Simon taking the lead. That's right, he took the lead for the first time since the end of November. But we've had several changes today alone, but Seb was celebrating the fact that he's on a starboard jibe, able to use his good foil and sail his boat at 100%.
Yalla! En tête du Vendée Globe, à bord de Groupe Dubreuil. Wouh! C'est bon ça! Ah, le vent a bien molli là depuis quelques minutes. Mais on va profiter de ce moment, on est encore tribord à mur jusqu'à demain et voilà, il faut en profiter là. C'est génial, la suite sera plus compliquée, les poursuivants arrivent et après il y aura un peu de bâbord à la fin du Pacifique. Mais là je boude pas mon plaisir. Yes!
Super happy, but it was not to last long. We've had news today that Charlie Dallin spent 36 hours maintaining repairs on his boat, and he is now back at 100% capacity, and in the recent mid-morning rankings has gone back into first place. So they really are jostling at the front of that pack. Now, somebody that knows a little bit about having daily repairs to do on a Vendée Globe, because the jobs list is never ending, is my next guest, and I'm delighted to say I'm joined by Conrad Humphreys, skipper from the 2004 Vendée Globe, finishing in 7th place. Conrad, welcome. Thank you for joining me. What a race.
Hey Dee, yeah, it's been incredible, absolutely electric, just races within races, so much going on. It's really hard to stay, up to date. I'm just absolutely loving it.
And it must bring back some really big memories for you back in 2004 in your race, and how much it took to do it. I don't know if those memories are good or bad, or a mix of emotions of all of them.
Yeah, I mean, every emotion under the sun. I think 20 years ago at this point in time, I was I just left Cape Town, actually. I mean, considering the distances that involved, I think I was 500 miles behind the last place boat, having just replaced my rudder down in Simonstown in Cape Town, and yeah, feeling very, very anxious about going into the Southern Ocean, being so far behind. But now you just watching these races, you've got boats just so close to each other, so many boats still out on the water. It's just a remarkable event.
Well, another British skipper that was watching your remarkable event back in 2004 and was dreaming of doing the Vendée Globe then was British sailor Sam Goodchild. We can see him here lying in 10th position, absolutely crammed into that chasing pack on the front three. And Sam, hi there. How is life on board Vulnerables? A little easier than the last 24 hours, I guess.
Yeah, hi Dee. Hi Conrad. Nice to hear your voice. Yeah, it's a lot nicer than it has been. The wind's dropped to about 30 knots now, and the sea state's probably quite.
I like the way he said there that the wind had dropped now to 30 knots. I mean, it all puts life in perspective there. Conrad, I know it's the middle of the night for them and it's really hard for them to do these communications, but it's so nice to see them enjoying their race and to have that opportunity to talk whilst we try and get the connection back.
Yeah, I mean, Sam's just having such an incredible kind of mature race. I mean, he's been, ever since he's been in the IMOCA class, he's had this real focus of just doing things his way and at his pace. And it's so incredible to see someone who obviously he's been waiting many years to get to this stage, but now, really sailing a smart race, doing it at his pace. And he's just brilliant. Real maturity from a guy that has really come up through the ranks with the Figaro and all the other classes that he's sailed, which has just given him the experience to really tackle this race.
And he's positioned himself with some really good boats around him. Do you think that's a motivation to keep your foot to the floor and make sure you stay on the pace?
Yeah, I mean, he's got a great group of boats around him there, and with Boris breathing down his neck, getting probably his second wind, it's really going to help Sam to kind of just keep pace. But I think
let's just check in, Conrad. We've got him back. Let's just see if it is helping him keep pace. Sam, we were just asking if the boats around you are keeping you motivated to keep pushing hard and go fast.
Yeah, hi Dee. Yeah, sorry, it cut out. Motivated, yeah. It's a little bit. It adds a little bit of stress to the whole thing, doesn't it? When people going around you going faster. I'm trying to keep up. I'm trying to kind of keep in my comfort zone as well. It's a long way to go, and I haven't quite got the same boat as everyone around me, especially Boris, who's got a boat which he really designed for these conditions. So doing a lot loosey work, trying to keep up and trying to stay in my comfort zone. Really is kind of. We got another 2 weeks, or a little under 2 weeks in the Southern Ocean, and then if I can get out here in good shape with all my sails in one piece and my foils in one piece, and I think there's probably a bit more of a chance for me in the Atlantic.
Absolutely. For a second generation boat, Sam, you're having a remarkable race. Conrad, what would you like to ask Sam while we've got him online?
I just want to say, Sam, I mean, first of all, just keep doing what you're doing because it's brilliant. And, everyone is just so proud of you back home. Those boats around you are different generations, but you're just stay to your game. You're playing it really well. In another couple of weeks, you'll be out of the Southern Ocean and back up the Atlantic in really good shape. How are you coping with, I guess, the isolation? Are you enjoying the solitude? Are you struggling with it? Do you have your good days, your bad days?
Yeah, hi Conrad. It's fun to hear you. I think back to 2004, following you on Helamoto a few years ago now. And yeah, on the solitude, honestly, it's something that's new to me. I've never spent more than 10 days by myself before this race, and we're almost at 4 times that. and actually, it's not something that's bothered me at all. It's something that's actually gone a lot better than I expected. I might expect it to be harder on the whole solitude side of things. What I've found harder is the technical management of the boat and knowing when to push, when not to push. The long race, like now, just looking at Boris overtaking me at 3 knots faster and being, okay, how much is acceptable? Is 3 knots enough, or 4 knots, or 2 knots? And that sort of thing I found harder. But actually, the solitude and life on board, I've kind of found myself in a little nice routine, and the days go by really quickly. I'm not looking at the clock watching and thinking, oh my God, when's this thing going to end? I'm actually kind of happy in my own little bubble.
Well, it's a very happy bubble, Sam, and a massive milestone. You're over halfway. You've crossed the date line, so you're officially coming home. Does it feel good to think you're in the Western Hemisphere and you're ticking it down now?
For me, it was massively symbolic. I don't know why. It's almost the biggest milestone we've had so far for me was crossing the date line. Bigger than any of the Cape of Good Hope or Cape Lewin. It was really like, okay, we're in the hemisphere of home now. The miles are clopping down. So if you really feel like we're heading home, the routings are getting us all the way to Cape Horn now. I just feel like it was a massive click this morning when we went across the date line and the idea of I'm living the 18th again, the 18th of December. I lived this yesterday and I've got it again. But it's been a massive morale booster actually to think that we're back in the Western Hemisphere and the miles are coming down.
Conrad, you got another question for Sam before we say goodbye to him?
Yeah, I'm just thinking about that solitude again, and just how you deal with some of the challenges in your own mind about when to push, when not to push. Do you have a sort of battles in your own mind, or do you just tell yourself to sort of just stick to the plan? Just that's often quite hard when you're down there on your own.
Yeah, I mean, I tell myself probably 20 times a day, stick to your plan, stay in your comfort zone, and then you look at the new position report come in and you look at everyone going fast and you're like, oh my God, this is frustrating. Maybe I should push a bit harder. Is this enough? And should we be taking more risks? And I mean, it's basically a constant discussion, a constant conversation in my head as to what is an acceptable limit. I mean, at the moment, the wind's dropping. And obviously, when the wind drops, it kind of drops them back up and drops them back up. And then, well, okay, what stage do you take the reef out? What stage do you go to the bigger sail up? And I mean, it's just a constant battle of where's that limit? Because it's not a black or white question. It's not a yes or no. It's a much more nuanced answer than that. So no, it's something it's easy to say no, Sam, just take it easy in the south, and you can race up the Atlantic. But in the reality and in the practice of it, you're 100% right. It's not that easy.
Well, Sam, I have to say those conversations you are having in your mind are going well. So keep them going. And we want to say thank you for spending time with us in the middle of your night. Keep sailing fast, sail safe, and all the best. Thank you, Sam. Woo! And the audience are thanking you.
Thanks, Dee. Thanks, Conrad.
Oh, great to see Sam there. Conrad, you must think about that when he's saying, oh, you know, there's always that risk and reward balance, and you know there's lots of jobs to do. Your race was all about managing that risk reward and then dealing with the jobs as it happened. And we've got some amazing footage of your rudder repair, because you were probably the first person in the Vendée Globe to change their rudder. Since then, we've all learnt the lessons from you. But if you want to talk us through this footage, just to explain what you were doing.
Well, yeah, 400 miles west of Cape Town, I ran into something in the water and thought the race was over. Got on the phone to Joffy and we decided to go to Simonstown and see if we could really get the old rudder out, which Joffy came up with a sort of quite a sophisticated plan, which now has been sort of shared with the fleet. But having got it out and winched back up on board the boat, we then used a sort of pulley system and some weight down on the seabed to kind of pull the new rudder under the boat, and then allowed its natural buoyancy to sort of float up through the bearings. You obviously wouldn't be doing this in the Southern Ocean because you wouldn't be getting in the water. There were other challenges in Simonstown because, as you know, it's quite sharky down there. But yeah, just an incredible experience to make that repair and get back in the race.
Well, you definitely were a pioneer for that because, you know, I used your boat captain, Joff Brown, and then Pip has the boat captain, Joff Brown. And last edition of the race, she actually had to do that rudder change in the Southern Ocean. So we learned the lessons along the way. And she's had her own issues recently. And I managed to talk to Pip to see if she'd managed to process what's happened recently, the dismasting, the fact that she's going to Melbourne. Where is she in her mind and how is she doing?
You know, I think in the 24 hours after the dismasting, you know, that was definitely my lowest point, and I struggled to think about a comeback. You know, it all just seemed so hard, but you know, this is what we've achieved in the last 6 years, me and my team in the UK, getting to where we are with the IMOCA fleet and stuff. I'm just not ready to let that go. I'm not ready to let that knowledge and experience go, and I just have such drive and passion for this sport, and I want to be better and I want to do better. And yeah, we're coming back in 2025. We're coming back without a doubt. Yeah.
Well, we had Bertrand Piccard on the show yesterday, and he said, and actually Zabi said when he finished in Cape Town, he said that every failure is the first step of the next success. And I think, Pip, you are embodying that.
Thank you. Feels a bit weird out here on my own, and you know, it is that word, isn't it? It's failure. It's a horrible word. It's a horrible word. And if I was talking to anybody else, I would say it's not a failure, you know, but when it's you and yeah, and everything I'd hoped for and the way the race was going, and it's just, it's hard, Dee. It's the hardest thing. Yeah.
Well, it's a rig failure, but it's a Pip Hare growth of resilience. and the next step on what's next.
Thank you so much. And yeah, I'm actually going to really, I'm in contact with quite a lot of the other skippers anyway, and kind of just living the race vicariously through them. And I wish all of them all the best. And I really hope that every single person still on the track finishes that race. I really do.
Well, we were both quite emotional talking there this morning. Conrad, those emotions are raw, but Pip does such a good job at sharing them and like being really authentic with it, doesn't she?
She does. I mean, she's always been an incredible storyteller and you know, just really honest about her feelings, which really comes through in all the ways, all the channels she communicates across. And she has got a great team, and she should be really, really proud of what she's achieved. You know, using the rig where she is, you know, these things happen, and you know, it's how you bounce back. It's hard when it's a rig failure because there's, you know, you can fix a lot of things, but you know, rigs are very difficult unless you're Yves Pallier, in which case, you know, he will have found a way to have got that thing sailing again. But you know,
that was on a different level, though, wasn't it?
That was a different level.
Somebody special to. Sorry, Conrad. Somebody special to mention today is Justine Metro. She's onboard Teamwork Team SNEF, and she had a fantastic 24-hour run, covering 520 miles in that time. She is nipping at the heels of Sam Goodchild, and this is what her conditions on board look like. So let's look at the big picture. This is the back half of the fleet, and we start here at the back with this depression that is going to build for these back riders as they come towards Cape Lewin. We also have the foilers that are with the Daggerboard boats. They've got very strong conditions, and they're finding the last of these conditions as they come south of Australia. And then we've got this area that's building into a big transition zone. So if we look at the front of the fleet, we see this cold southerly wind that the guys are enjoying, allowing them to reach fast. And we can see that this chasing pack is just going around the bottom of this high pressure system. And then we've got this big area of nothing where Clarice and Sam Davies have found themselves. And then we've got Romain and Benjamin Detraux just coming into this transition zone. But this is the front that we saw Justine enjoying earlier. Looking at a video simulation, we can see here this high pressure around here that these guys are staying ahead of, and it's this high pressure that's going to slow down the rest of the fleet. Now, we can see how close these front runners are, and it was today that we had images from Yoan Richomme seeing Charlie Dallin and Charlie Dallin seeing Yoan Richomme.
Charlie Dallin. Yoan Richomme himself. Okay, my pack.
It's hard to think that they're 38 days racing and still in sight of each other. But here's the leaderboard, and you can see just how close they are. They are literally lined up north to south rather than east to west, so pretty much in a straight line. And then we've got this next chasing pack all the way through to Justine Metro in a large group chasing down that low pressure as they squeeze around then the bottom of the high pressure and the ice exclusion zone. Unfortunately for Sam and Clarice there, they've just dropped off the back, and that's the opportunity now in this next transition that we're going to see in the Pacific entry, where everybody's going to start to catch up and regroup. And then the back of the fleet, just enjoying stronger conditions still, are our internationals. We've got Oliver here, Jinken Zhu, and we have Denny van Weinberg that have got a big depression riding them in to Cape Lewin. But before we look at any of those, I spoke to Yoan Richomme this morning in his close battle, just to see if he was back in his happy place.
Yeah, well, at the front at least is my happy place, and it's definitely a close battle with Charlie. I can see him, I can see his flashlight right there. He's 1.2 miles ahead of me, basically.
Is it better to be the hunter or the hunted?
I don't know. I don't mind being the hunter for a bit. I think my time to shine will be on the downwind probably. After this northern tip of the ice zone, but I'm already happy to be on par with Charlie in these conditions, because when we started reaching, he took off really fast. So I'm glad I found the right settings to get the boat going and to be on pace with him. So if I can match him before going downwind, then I'll probably be a happy man.
But tell me, you must have been making a list of modifications you want to do on your boat.
Well, I actually had a meeting with with some of my staff to talk about the future of the boat and what we would change and stuff like that. So we're already thinking about it, but it's I really enjoy it. I have to say that probably I enjoy 99% of the boat, and of course there's that little 1% that I would change. But I think we've got a really good, example of a well-designed boat.
You might have a good Christmas present of Cape Horn looking ahead.
Yeah, I think that's incredible. When I was working, I made like a road book of all the times of Armel, François, Vildez, and Yannick Bestaven. And I was looking at it, I was like, okay, so if we're on record pace or just before it, we'll be at the Horn. That was fast. 37 knots. We'll be at the Horn for Christmas, and I was like, wow, that would be so cool, you know. And I like the idea of it, because we'll be in the Atlantic by the end of December. That means we can aim for quite an early arrival, and that's something I enjoy.
That still makes me laugh. I'm busy asking him about Christmas presents at Cape Horn, and he's doing 37 knots. Conrad, it's remarkable just how they have that connection and how calm he is in those conditions, but also that thought of Christmas. You know, how difficult is Christmas on your own in the Southern Ocean on the Vendée Globe?
I mean, first of all, I don't know how he stays calm at 37 knots. He's just, but that's Johan. He is incredible. But Christmas is coming up, and oh god, there we are. Look, some celebratory moments. I think on Christmas Day my generator packed up, so it wasn't my best Christmas ever. From that moment on, I had to conserve fuel to get to the finish, but I did have a few presents to unwrap.
It's hard though, isn't it? It's that balance between you're loving doing the best thing possible and then actually a bit sad because you're not with loved ones that you normally spend Christmas with.
It's exactly that. I remember sort of opening a few things, and then I think I'd probably spend the rest of the afternoon just feeling very tearful about my sorry predicament that I'd put myself into. And it's an emotional roller coaster, that race, I think, for everyone, and those sort of big Christmas moments make you think a lot about family when you're out there.
So I spoke earlier today about the transition zone for the Sam and Clarice falling off that front, and Romain Antanasio and Benjamin Dutroux just looking at this complex weather ahead in the Pacific. If we look at the map now, we can see Romain's position. He's currently lying in 15th place, just south of Tasmania. There, it's just moved between Tasmania and New Zealand. And I just asked him how critical this decision in his weather routing was going to be, and did he consider going north of New Zealand?
Yes, yesterday it was an option, but I can imagine it's terrible to take the Cook Strait. But I saw that on the weather routing, and it was an option. But no, to be honest, not now. My option is to stay just under New Zealand, but it's crazy. I go to Dunedin, close to Dunedin.
So the Pacific is an opportunity for a new race to start. Maybe this is the chance to catch Clarisse and Sam.
Yeah, that's true. That's horrible for her because they left the group and stay in the without a win zone, and they know we will come back. And imagine for her that's terrible. I spoke with Sam this morning, and she's completely disappointed.
So this is your third Vendée Globe. How does it feel different this time?
I hope shorter, but really harder. The boat is completely different. The Fortinet Best Western is a spoiler, like you know, and it's so hard compared to my whole boat. The good thing is I'm faster, and my routing said I will be in 16 days probably in Cape Horn.
And how do you feel physically? Are you in good shape?
I'm cold, but I have a heater. That's the good thing. I use a lot of time. I eat every time. I don't know why. I'm lost, and I don't know when I have to eat, when I have to sleep, and for that I eat every time. But I'm good.
I remember those times. When you're crossing time zones, it's really confusing what meal you should be eating and when. So you just pick your favourites at the end of the day. Now, Conrad, you've slightly changed from these fast-paced boats to a slightly slower mode of sailing. Can you tell us what you're up to and what's next for you?
Yeah, well, I think it probably comes to us all at some point in life, but I seem to have discovered historical voyages, and 8 years ago, recreated one of history's kind of great maritime stories, sailing a little 7-meter boat from Tonga all the way across to Timor, a distance of 4,000 miles, in an open boat. So no closed cockpit, no covers over us. Loved being outside in the elements for that time. And so I'm continuing with that theme, and we're in design phase and about to start building another historical boat to tell another incredible story, one which many people will be familiar with, which was the Voyage of the Beagle, but they won't be familiar with one of the little boats that was on the Beagle called the Hope, which was one of the survey boats that explored the Beagle Channel and Patagonia. So yeah, watch this space. We've got some more adventuring to come.
Oh, well, we will be looking at Cape Horn and hoping none of our fleet go to the Beagle Channel, but look forward to seeing you down there at a later date. Conrad, I really appreciate your time today. Thank you for joining us on the English show. It was a pleasure having you on.
That's lovely. Thanks so much, Dee. And yeah, brilliant to see the fleet doing so well. It's such an amazing event.
Cool. Thanks, Conrad. So tomorrow I'm going to be joined in person. I must be on good behaviour for getting somebody to join me in the studio, but it'll be Alexia Barrier, a skipper from the 2020 Vendée Globe, who has big plans for the future. I should know because I'm involved in them. And so I hope you're all going to join me tomorrow. And in the meantime, at this time of year, it's very common for us to light the fire and warm the place up. And that's exactly what Charlie Dallin did on board his boat.
Bon, la cheminée est allumée. Sur l'IMOCA Massif Santé Prévoyance, petite flambée du soir. Petite flambée du soir, c'est chauffage au gaz sur le bateau. J'ai prévu une cartouche spéciale pour le sud. Et bah, c'est le moment de l'utiliser là, parce qu'il fait 6 degrés dans le bateau là. C'est vraiment pas chaud. Ne vous inquiétez pas, hein. Je laisse jamais le réchaud allumé tout seul.